Hi, my name is Jamie Dundee. I'm the principal here at GCIT. As we embark on the beginning of this upcoming school year, I wanted to provide a brief presentation in regards to our goals and expectations, especially with our new norm in regards to hybrid learning, as well as online learning for the 2020-2021 school year. This is usually a forum that we utilize for our incoming freshmen. However, we really felt with some of our changes and revisions that we wanted to present this not only to our freshman students, but we wanted to remind students of what our expectations are, not only academically and behaviorally, but what our new expectations will be in regards to online learning, as well as what the schedules will look like in regards to hybrid learning, and those students who are primarily all virtual for this upcoming school year. I first would like to welcome our class of 2024. We know this is not an ideal situation as you enter into the GCIT family. However, we wanted to welcome you and congratulate you on being one of the few students that are selected in regards to the number of applicants that we get every year. We thank you for being brave and taking the challenge and leaving your current friends and sending district to come and take your courses here at GCIT. Our goal is to help you throughout your career. One of the reminders that I say to the students every year is please be sure to leave your imprint here at GCIT over your 4 years. Look up to the upperclassmen. I think they are phenomenal role models in the ways and expectations that we have and what we expect from our students. And again, I want to welcome you. I want to welcome the families of the incoming freshmen. We know that these are new waters that you're trying to get through. And if there's anything that we can do from an administrative team as well as a faculty and staff, please do not hesitate to contact any of us with any questions that you may have. One of the things that we utilize in the administrative world is our parent-student handbook. The 2020-2021 parent handbook will be up on the GCIT website this week. It's under the student tab as well as the parent tab. It is the guideline that we utilize in regards to guidance issues, behavioral issues, disciplinary infractions, as well as the activities that we do within the school. I would ask that all families and students review this handbook, go through it. If there are questions that you have after that of reviewing the handbook, please do not hesitate to contact, again, the appropriate personnel, whether it's a guidance counselor, child study team member, as well as the administrative staff. The vision for GCIT is strictly that we want our students to be college, career, and civic ready. We want our students, and we think that our students will be prepared to compete in both higher education and the workforce environments. Our vision for the school climate also includes a spirit of care, respect, inclusiveness, and support. We are not a place that will tolerate hate or any type of harassment in any manner. One of the questions that we are constantly asked in our school is what makes GCIT unique? And I believe that our district mission is for our students to be lifelong learners, positive contributors to the community, problem solvers, productive workers, and ethical decision makers. In order to achieve these goals, GCIT will provide a challenging curriculum, excellence in instructional practices, a safe, supportive, drug-free environment, opportunities for exploration and discovery, technological resources to promote learning, and activities designed to develop career-related skills. Our pledge is to afford our students the experience which encourage academic, vocational, and social growth with a special emphasis on pride, respect, and personal responsibility. In regards to communication strategies for our students, we do have a calendar of events that is on our GCIT webpage. We use that. We also have various social media platforms that we use, Facebook, Twitter. We have an electronic newsletter. We utilize School Messenger, and of course, like I indicated before, we use the GCIT website as a forum to share all of our upcoming events as well as our calendar events. and highlighting our student successes that exist within our school. One of the primary ways that we communicate with the students here at GCIT is the use of email. We do not engage in personal email use with students. Students are all issued a school-related email, and we encourage them, mandate them to utilize that source of communication with their teachers. Our teaching staff will be utilizing the emails addresses that have been assigned by the school, and we, again, hope that that communication is between a professional email from a staff member to a student using their school-issued email. In regards to PowerSchool, that is the platform that we use for grades and course schedules. Again, one of the things that we do utilize in cases of emergency or changes is we use our school messenger to send out alerts in regards to school closures, if there's changes, if there's upcoming events that may happen. So one of the things that we ask is that it is the parent and the guardian's responsibility to make sure that the school office has current contact information. If you have moved, if you've changed any type of contact information at all, please call the guidance office and indicate to them what the changes may be. You can also provide them with an email of whatever your changes are, and they will update PowerSchool so it reflects the appropriate information there. So students would not miss, and parents would not miss, any type of cancellation or change within our school community. We also use our Gloucester County Educational Network. As you can see, it's channel 97 on Comcast, as well as channel 34 for those that subscribe to Verizon. And our emergency closing number is number 833. However, with all the other avenues that you see above that situation, that would be the last one. But in an emergency situation, if it's alerted, our school closing number is 833. As indicated, our upcoming school calendar is available on our GCIT website. There's also a tab that will break things down month by month in regards to activities that are happening, any type of dances or specialty events. Our school day is from 8 a.m. to 2:27 p.m. We do have our bell schedules that are listed on our website, again, under students as well as parents. So again, if there is a half day or an abbreviated day, all those schedules are available for students and parents to see if there's any changes, and you can see what the daily period breakdown would be on those abbreviated days. One of the biggest pieces that we have is called drop add period in the school, and that is when a student wants to change their schedule. For each semester, because we are semester about, students have 5 school days to change their course selection. There are indicators in what the recommendations are for our handbook of what the criteria meet in order to change a class. We ask that students meet with their guidance counselors immediately. Knowing the drop add period is a very busy time, I would encourage your student as well as the parent to reach out to the guidance counselor via email so that there's documentation in regards to what your expectations are. Again, we do have a set of criteria and guidelines that enable us to change or endorse a change of a student changing classes. Just not liking a teacher would not be one of those reasons for a change, because we do get that asked quite a bit. We do have clubs at GCIT, and one of our days, which is Friday, is usually a club scheduled day. However, with this hybrid slash virtual online model right now, we are not asking students to sign up for clubs, and will not be engaging in club period at this time until we come back to school in a full in-person schedule. One of the things that was asked of us and that we are going to reinforce is that there will be, some of the clubs will be reaching out through Microsoft Teams. Some of our career technical organizations, our honor societies, our student council may be reaching out to the students to have after school virtual meetings so that they can continue their work that they do in those areas and those specific clubs. But club day will not begin and we will not be signing up for clubs until we get back to a full day in-person schedule. We want to utilize all that time right now for our students that will be attending in a hybrid model to get as much academic and hands-on career-related instruction that we can. In regards to school materials, I would wait for each instructor will give you a supply material list. If you feel the need, I would encourage your students to bring a couple folders in, as well as some notebooks individually, but I would not purchase or buy anything until you get that list directly from the teacher themselves. And one of the things that we do have is gym uniforms. The Fitness for Life, physical education, and health staff will be addressing those issues with students that do have Fitness for Life, health, and PE classes within the first semester. So again, they will give you guidelines in how to order and purchase those uniforms. As I had indicated earlier, GCIT is unique in which we adhere to block scheduling, which means that in our semester, students will have some courses for half the year and then get additional new courses for the second half of the year. And we do have some unique classes, obviously, that go all year long. Our semesters are from September to January is semester one. Your students will then get a new set of schedules for semester two, which is obviously the beginning of February, and would go until in June when we end the school year. So we are semester about. We feel that it does help our students to stay organized. Instead of focusing on 8 classes, some of our students, again, are getting 4 to 5 classes that they focus on. Helps them with organization. Our class periods are obviously longer for not only lecture, but to provide our students with the ability to do lab work, breakout sessions, group work, and really obviously spend as much time as possible focusing on those academic areas. In regards to lunch, we have added, due to the COVID-19 and social distancing protocols, we've added an additional lunch period this year. So we will have 5th period will be assigned to our freshman students. We do have the 2 cafeterias still in operation, as well as our common areas that we utilize for lunches. Our 6th period will be our juniors and our seniors will be eating lunch at that time, and our 7th period will be our sophomores. There will be some additional information in this presentation regarding what lunches would look like and how we are trying to maintain social distancing protocols. We do have our student breakfast and lunch program. Again, our students are assigned a number. They do have a student identification card. We utilize My School Bucks, which is a program that you can see more information on the GCIT website, in which you can replenish any funds that you need as your child goes through and obviously gets lunch, or if they decide to purchase breakfast. Again, there's barcodes that are linked in with our cafeteria computer system, and that's how we utilize that to purchase meals throughout the day. One of the things that GCIT is really passionate about is our school safety and school security within our facility itself. One of the issues that we have is our lobby guard system, in which all of our visitors who enter into the building, we ask all visitors to come into our 400 main offices, which is where the principal's office is. We ask that our students, due to safety reasons, we ask them to travel inside the building when they are changing classes. All visitors will be required to show proper identification. When they do come into our facility, we'll be asked to ask all visitors to wear a mask at this time. And because we are trying to limit the exposure from outside personnel, obviously we want to welcome all families to come in and meet with us when there are needs, but we are looking to schedule appointments at this point in order to come in. If you have a need to meet with a teacher, an administrator, and this is not obviously an emergency situation, but please reach out, schedule an appointment. We are trying to limit the amount of outside personnel that would be coming into our building, obviously trying to maintain not only social distancing, but to protect the well-being of our students as well as our faculty and staff. We do have evening school programs that will be starting this September as well. We have procedures that are in place to separate our evening school students that are in the building from events that would be happening. For example, our performing arts programs may have a play or a performance going on, and we try to separate those individuals, so we're keeping our students and staff in one area as well as our evening school population in another. We do have two individuals that are part of our security personnel. This is in addition to our two school resource officers that are Gloucester County Sheriff's Department officers that are in the building, as well as two other sheriff officers that are between the college campus and our Gloucester County Special Services Bankbridge campuses. So we have four sheriff's officers that are within minutes of one another, two that are assigned to our facility, as well as two security personnel that work in the evening. With the COVID situation right now, we're moving one of those individuals from the evening to our daytime. Both of those individuals are retired sheriff's personnel, Gloucester County Sheriff's personnel as well. And again, security and well-being and protecting the individuals that are in our building is paramount to all of us. Throughout our school year, GCIT will have two drills a month. We were mandated to have a fire drill every month, and then we will have other drills in regards to being a lockdown, shelter in place, an intruder, or an evacuation drill. We go over all these situations with our students. We do not announce those out to families because we want to practice what those real situations would be. If there is a moment or a situation in regards to a true emergency, you will be notified as parents as to the situation. When we do evacuation drills, after the evacuation drill has started, we do send a message out to families indicating that we are practicing an evacuation drill in which we are leaving the campus today or leaving the school building to report to our other location, which is over at Special Services. And we do say that it's only a drill, but we do want to encourage you in case your children are reaching out to you saying that we're leaving the school building. So we do try to keep communication lines open with that, but we don't want to give the students preparation ahead of time because we want to see what it would look like in a real scenario so that we know what changes we need to make. In regards to some of our key district policies, in regards to alcohol, drugs, tobacco, electronic cigarettes, e-cigarettes, Juuls, vape pens, we are a smoke-free campus. Any infraction involving an electronic cigarette, vape, or Juul will result in mandatory drug testing. We have to protect the safety of that student as well as who that student may be associated with during the day. So again, any student that is caught will face disciplinary actions, as well as it'll be mandated for them to go out and get a drug screening because we do not know what's in each of those devices. In regards to athletics, we are a full array of athletic sports. We are members of the Tri-County Conference, the Olympic Conference, as well as the New Jersey Technical Athletic Council, in which we compete against fellow vocational schools. If there are any questions in regards to athletics, I would ask that you contact our athletic director, Mr. Michael McAleer. If there's any questions regarding physicals or sports that are there, it is all on the webpage. He also maintains a Twitter page and updating scores, events, and highlighting our athletes of the week or athletes of the school year. So if for another situation, if your child wants to participate in a sport that we do not offer, an example would be football, wrestling, that student would have to make arrangements with your home district, their athletic director. You would have to provide transportation from our school, unless they're taking the bus home, depending on what time the transportation, or depends on what time the activity starts, over at their home school. They would have to attend their tryout and do everything over there. So we do have athletes that, as long as they're in good academic and behavioral standing, they do participate in sports that we do not offer at GCIT. They can participate in their home school. If GCIT offers a sport and we offer it at our school at GCIT, you are not able to go back and participate. For example, if your child wants to play soccer and they would think that they want to play at their home school, since we offer it, they have to play at GCIT. It's only sports that we do not offer on the campus itself. In regards to absences, again, I would ask that you go back and look at the student handbook. Once we get to 9 unexcused absences, we have to enter a student into credit completion. That's 9 unexcused per semester. Again, the rules and guidelines in regards to attendance, what qualifies as excused versus unexcused, are in the handbook in detail. I would ask again that you review those. always provide medical notes. Anytime that there's a situation, if you have a college visit, please just make sure that you're providing documentation. There's rules and procedures in regards to those as well. So we're looking at, again, making sure that the student is being marked correctly in regards to attendance. In regards to bus transportation, it is the responsibility of your sending district. If you have any issues with drop off or pickup time, or you have not received information to date with the upcoming school year starting, please reach out to your home school district. We do not provide the transportation for our students. We also do not provide any late buses home from athletics. So again, if you're having any difficulties in regards to transportation, please reach out to your home district in the town in which you live, and they are required to provide that information to you. One of the things that we are passionate about is communication with our families, but in regards to cell phone use and communication, we do have a policy that we put in place in regards to recording. It is a violation for any student to record another student unwillingly or a staff member and then share that information out in an inappropriate manner. There are procedures that we have updated in regards to our student code of conduct as it applies to online learning, and I'll discuss those a little bit further in the presentation. We do have a relationship with the Rowan College of South Jersey in our collegiate high school program, in which students are attending over at the college, getting dual credit classes. Last year, we had 17 students that had earned their associate's degree prior to earning their high school diploma. We encourage students to take advantage of these courses, regardless of what program you're in, as these do transfer into for those students that are going on to the college level. And hopefully you can see that it's a greatly reduced cost. It's a great relationship that we have with the college, and enables our students to really get a jump start while they're still in high school, to get out at a discounted rate for the college once they decide to go to a four-year college or institution from there. Our conduct and discipline is not only progressive, but it's consistent. Our goal is to work with improving the student. We know that students will make mistakes. However, it's our goal to not only correct those behaviors, but to try to reinforce positive ways, whether it's through counseling or additional supports to try to help the student to make better choices as they continue their career at GCIT. For any early release and lateness to school, there are sign in and out procedures. We are moving to a QAR code bar this year for some of our seniors. I'll address that a little bit later in the presentation. But anytime you have to sign in or out your child in regards to attending an appointment or anything that you would have to sign them out for, please make sure that you're providing us documentation in advance. Sometimes we know emergencies happen, so please be patient when you come to pick your child up, that we want to get them, and obviously they'll be finishing up their class. They may be walking from one end of the building or coming in from Fitness for Life from outside. So again, if it's an emergency situation, it may take a couple minutes to get the students down to the main office. We do offer field trips that are based in our curricular programs. Students must be under good academic and disciplinary standing to be eligible for those field trips. Guidance services, if you have any questions regarding scheduling, need any assistance with preparing for the ASVAB test for military, SATs, PSATs, again, I encourage you as family members as well as students to reach out to your guidance counselor to make those arrangements and have those discussions. I know for some that are sitting in and welcoming the class of 2024, please know that the four-year career flies by quickly. Please continue to reach out to those guidance personnel in preparing your track to whatever the next transition for you in life would be, whether it be employment, post-secondary education, college, military. Again, those individuals and personnel are there to assist you. One of the issues that we are passionate about is harassment, intimidation, and bullying, and the ways in which we handle those situations. I will address this a little more in detail, but again, GCIT is passionate about being a no place for hate. Again, I will get into more detail at the latter part of this presentation. Students, it is required that they must wear their student identification card. We will provide each student with that card. They must be visibly worn, again, with a lanyard that we will provide. They can also use their own lanyard if they like. However, it does have to follow dress code policy. It should not have anything that's offensive on it. Again, this is for safety purposes, so we know obviously our students in the building and we can see them, identify them, and if there's an emergency situation. If a student loses their ID card, the replacement for that is $10, in which they'll have to pay to the office. Again, students may wear their own lanyard. However, we will also be selling, GCIT lanyards for $5. In regards to dress code, there are obviously a lot of detailed information, again, that is in the parent-student handbook. There's guidelines and details regarding what our expectations are. To go over a couple brief scenarios here, our clothing must cover areas from one armpit to the other armpit down to fingertip length. Rips and tears in clothing should be lower than fingertip length. Again, our goal is to have more clothing showing, obviously, than inappropriate skin showing. Appropriate footwear must be worn at all times. We are a career and technical education school. Safety is paramount. Obviously, there will be dress code scenarios and expectations for various shops. Again, those instructors will be sharing that information of what the expectations are for our students. Again, in regards to footwear and expectations for uniforms within those classes. As we say, pajamas are not to be worn in the school building at any time. Goggles, safety glasses, as we talked about some of the vocational and career tech areas, lab aprons, appropriate uniforms are required for specific shops and labs, and that will be discussed with each individual career teacher as well as the academic teachers. Headgear, including hats and hoodies and caps, are not allowed unless permitted for religious, medical, or other reasons by school administration. If there are any categories or questions that you may have, please feel free to contact the office, and we can work with you, obviously, in meeting those accommodations if it meets that. Patches, decals, or sayings affixed to clothing that are inappropriate, if they're suggested or drug-related, obscene, violent in nature, or to cause disruption in normal proceedings, are not to be worn in any manner. We encourage students not to wear any type of gang-affiliated clothing of any nature. Wearing clothing, decals, face coverings, or anything that depicts or implies racial hatred, racially divisive prejudice, or creates ill will is prohibited at GCIT. It shall not be worn at school, on school property, or at school-sponsored activities. There will be no warning regarding this. This is a situation that we take, again, very seriously. Disciplinary action will follow. Again, there are discipline guidelines in our handbook that indicate what those infractions will be. And again, clothing and or apparel that causes or is likely to cause a disruption to any of the school activities, we will be addressing administratively. I provided, and this again is also in the handbook, kind of a guideline of what our expectations are in regards to length and covering for our students. Remember that lockers, in regards to search and seizure practices, it is our right as educators to search those lockers if there's an emergency situation. If there's any situation that would be involving law enforcement in any way, we would contact the parent to indicate that law enforcement personnel would need to talk to you if there is an emergency situation. However, if there is reasonable suspicion of a potential substance or weapon, we would be searching those areas in order for the protection of the student as well as all those that are in the facility itself. Any medication that you have, students are not to carry any type of medication unless it's an approved type of item for diabetes or other approved substance that is approved not only through the nurse's office but administration. All other prescription drugs and medication needs to go through the nurse and needs to be stored in their office area. Any personal items, we encourage students to make sure that they have locks. They can bring their own locks in as well. Again, especially for areas of Fitness for Life, we encourage the students to lock all items in order to prevent any type of theft or any damage to any of their own personal items. We do have school-based youth services, which is a counseling organization that's in our school. We have a director and 3 additional counselors that help to provide supports in regards to any students that are having issues, anxiety, depression, thoughts of suicidal ideation. There are detailed information on our website in regards to all the services that school-based offers our students, as well as what is maintained in regards to confidentiality, and what we can offer for the students if they are in need. We do know that obviously one of the biggest issues right now is the anxiety component that has come off of COVID-19 and the worry of our young adolescents. So again, those services are there, as well as our other counselors and child study team members in the building. If your child or you as an adult have any questions, that we can help to provide support and mental health guidance for your child. Social activities, we do have right now with COVID-19, we are on hold right now with some of our activities that occur after school. However, during a normal setting, GCIT does have our dances, proms, trips, and events. The student, again, must be in good academic and behavioral standing in order to attend those events. Anytime a student is suspended for any reason, is off campus, they would be ineligible to participate in any of those events for that day. We do offer student assemblies, which do go over a lot of the material that we're presenting today, plus additional things that is specific strictly to the students. We usually meet in small groups the first week of school. However, due to the complexities of social distancing this school year, those student assemblies will be going virtual and will be provided by our assistant principals, and more information will be upcoming. Again, all of our students, we are in a one-to-one technology agreement. It is important for all of our students to follow the technology guidelines that have been set forth. We expect that the students maintain and take care and properly treat the one-to-one devices, the laptops. Many parents have asked about insurance. GCIT, as part of our contract, has an insurance agreement with the company that we are renting these devices from. Parents do not need to take out additional insurance for these items. Again, we expect that our students will be treating them in the most respectful way and using them for appropriate reasons. In regards to substance abuse, any student who is in violation of the substance abuse policy will be unable to participate in any extracurricular activities, including trips, dances, athletics. It will also be a loss of driving for those that are eligible to drive on campus. And any student who is an employee of campus at the time will also not be able to participate in working during that time of suspension. In regards to substance, they could potentially lose their employment as well, depending on the situation that's involved. Violence and vandalism. Obviously, we take this all very serious. Any type of threats that are made. One of our biggest issues and one of the recommendations I would make in the position that I'm in is please be sure to monitor social media posts, social media platforms that your children are on. One of the biggest issues that we get is threats that are done in an electronic manner, or statements that are made in an electronic manner, and they are brought to our attention more often than not. Again, that goes down the disciplinary track. And again, I would highly recommend all of our students be mindful when they are posting things out on social media or putting things in any type of electronic format, like a text message. Again, those things, there are screenshots that are taken, and they do find a way to get back to our district personnel. We handle those very seriously and want to make sure that we have to protect the well-being of all of those involved. Again, any type of weapons or dangerous instruments, we do have the law enforcement personnel within our school. Again, anybody that would bring any type of weapon not only could lead to disciplinary infractions, but also could be recommended to return to their home district and not be eligible to participate any further at GCIT. We do have zero tolerance for all of those type of weapons or activities in our school. In regards to behavioral and academic expectations, it is essential for our students. You have selected GCIT and you've been chosen for GCIT. It's a school of choice. We expect that students adhere to being of high character, high morality. We expect that our students will act accordingly in an appropriate manner in which they treat everyone with respect. Again, we've always said that not everyone has to be friends, but we do have to treat each other, staff and students, with the appropriate level of respect and understanding of, again, everyone has different views, opinions, and needs within our society. Again, as I indicated, we are a no place for hate. One of the policies that we did put in last year, our district policy, is our return to district policy. Any student who has excessive concerns in the areas of attendance, discipline, or grades or academics, we will obviously try to help that student throughout the process, having meetings, trying to work with them, behavioral contracts, again, trying to put the student on the right path. If those concerns continue, then we will make a recommendation for that student return to their home setting. One of the issues that we, again, are faced with COVID-19 and some of our social distancing practices is moving towards our hybrid model of online learning, as well as, again, those parents that have picked an all virtual learning format for their children for this upcoming school year. For our student code of conduct, this is an updated set of rules that we have in place. In regards to attendance, students are expected to log into their courses and are expected to report each class during their scheduled time slot. If a student is home, we are asking them to check in during their time. They will complete an attendance form. What I would say is that the student may not be required to be at that class period for the entire time. They may be there for the lecture component as well as getting their assignment that's given. Once the students break into group work or hands-on work, those students would not have to stay on at that given time, and they can begin to do their assignment. But again, we want our students during this time to be logged in, to be synchronous. Our teachers will be presenting to them, whether it's pre-recorded lessons or live lessons at the time. We've put systems in place through our device of using Microsoft Teams will be our platforms that we're using. It is an important component of our remote learning practices. And again, it's essential. This is where the information will be shared from teacher to student. And then again, not only the guidelines of what the expectations are, the class assignments, everything will go through Microsoft Teams. Some parents have asked questions in regards to how their students will be notified. Any student that's in a roster of a teacher will be invited to join or will be added to join a Microsoft Teams for their particular class. So the teacher will put that student into their Microsoft Teams. Again, it will be the student's responsibility to log on to their student email. Again, they will see the information regarding Teams and they should log in from there, and that's where they'll get all their information and expectations of how they submit any type of work or any type of changes or assessments that are given through the class will all go through Microsoft Teams. If you have, again, any questions regarding that, please reach out to the instructor immediately. If your child's having any difficulties with their email or login systems or having any technical difficulties, please reach out to the administrative office immediately so that that can be taken care of. In addition to some of our code of conduct updates in regards to virtual learning, a student should not enter or attempt to enter a live session fraudulently. So again, if a student is in a situation where they would take the identification of another student or that link to that and try to enter in, there will be disciplinary infractions there. The class meeting IDs that are given by the teacher to the student should never be shared with other students, not only within our own district, but other students outside of our school. They should only be using those meeting IDs that pertain to the classes on their schedule. For one of the issues that we have this year, for a background of a live session, students must be appropriate in the manner in which they are dressed and in which their code of conduct should be. We're asking students to use a background that is neutral so that it does not have anything inappropriately showing in the background when they are involved in any type of virtual meeting or instructional class in which they're shown on camera. We would ask that students arrive on time for each class. Again, they will have to fill out an attendance form. As I stated earlier, only GCIT email addresses will be utilized. Personal emails will not be utilized or accepted in any manner. Again, report to the session as you're reporting to a live school day if you are online. We will be following the dress code, and all behavioral expectations and class rules apply virtually as if they were if a student would be attending in school and in person. One of the things that we encourage students that will not be tolerated is changing a name on the screen for any inappropriate reason. Any of these things will be addressed as unacceptable behavior and will be addressed immediately. Again, we expect that the student, if there's a situation that presents a student that needs to have their face on the camera view, we want the student's full face to be visible. We do not want students to be lounging or laying down in regards to taking class. Again, we want the same expectation if a student was in front of us as, again, what they're doing virtually online. Our expectations are for the students to treat each other with respect. This is not a forum to call out other students or, again, be disrespectful in any manner. Offensive or inappropriate language is not to be used in any form of communication during online virtual instruction. Again, we will not tolerate any use of profanity, written, drawn, displayed, or spoken during any type of meeting. Again, this is all deemed to be unacceptable. Taking screenshots or screen recordings of live sessions without the explicit permission from the teacher and class members is unacceptable and will fall under disciplinary infractions. This will also be addressed in regards to recording, will be in the syllabus of every single teacher, so you will see that as well. Again, any type of disruptions to a live session may lead to the removal of the student from that remote learning session. It could impact student credit, or it could impact an assessment that's given if a student is not acting appropriately. Repeated disruptions will be reported, again, and written up as a disciplinary infraction to our assistant principal and will be handled accordingly. One of the issues, again, that we talked about, the return to district, or it could really lead to an initial suspension, would be any student that would enter a meeting in a fraudulent manner, creating negative images of meetings, using screenshots or screen recordings of any of our members of the faculty or staff, or other students or administration, using profanities or obscenities, verbal or physical abuse in the form of intimidation, harassment, or threatening behavior directed towards the teacher, fellow students, administrative staff. Will go through a harassment, intimidation, and bullying investigation, as well as disciplinary impact as well. Again, one of our biggest pieces that I would remind our students and families as they're monitoring students is our academic integrity. Please be sure to adhere to those academic integrity policies and guidelines, and making sure that we do not tolerate any type of cheating or sharing information for the benefit of another person. We do know that given our situation, that there's virtual online scenarios that, again, students will be home taking assessments. We have changed the way that there will be multiple assessments that will be given to try to prevent cheating or any type of academic integrity. Please remind your children at home that, again, morality and ethical academic performance is of the utmost importance to us at GCIT, and as well as them, it's a representation of who they are as individuals in our society. One of the things that I mentioned earlier was our policies regarding harassment, intimidation, and bullying. The Board of Education for our district prohibits the acts of harassment, intimidation, or bullying of a pupil. A safe and civil environment in school is necessary for pupils to learn and achieve high academic standards. Again, we will not tolerate any type of harassment, intimidation, or bullying in any manner. Again, we take this very seriously and investigate all situations. Again, I would monitor students' use of social media platforms, as well as, again, any type of electronic communication. If for any reason you feel that your child is being harassed in any manner, please contact the office and we will get you in touch with our harassment, intimidation, and bullying director immediately. One of the things that we preach at GCIT is the respect and the rights for others, physically, sexually, and verbally, spoken, written, or electronic, including but not limited to hazing, harassment, ridicule, embarrassment, inflammatory statements, slurs, and racial religious comments will not be tolerated at GCIT. Our disciplinary infractions regarding these offenses that we take very seriously. Again, depending on the situation, there are discipline infractions. It could go down the road of harassment, intimidation, and bullying, as well as Title IX referral to our district personnel who handle that in regards to equity issues when one student is treated or students are treated differently by another. Again, detentions are involved, in-school suspensions, out-of-school suspensions, depending on the severity and the intimidation or harassment situation that's there, and the evidence that we have, again, could go through all those scenarios, as well as a possible removal of a student to return to district. If a student has multiple offenses, again, our recommendation will be for that student to return to their home district and no longer continue at GCIT. GCIT, as I indicated, will not tolerate these offenses, acts as we promote a safe and positive culture and climate. If a student is unable to follow these specific guidelines, then we will ask that you consider another educational option. GCIT has no place for hate, bigotry, or cowardice acts of bullying. Students may be, again, asked to return to their district if they're not able to follow these procedures. Again, we take them extremely seriously. I would continue to have conversations from family members to students. If any of our students are concerned in any manner throughout the school year, please come to the office immediately. We keep your information in confidence. And again, we can only help and deal with situations if we know that they're being presented to us. If we don't know, then we can't help students. And again, students should feel safe and comfortable coming to school every single day. Again, students shall not racially harass or intimidate other students by name calling, using racial or derogatory slurs, wearing or possessing items depicting or implying racial hatred or prejudice. Consequently, a first offense of the above that I mentioned would be a 1 to 3 day suspension, followed by a 10-day suspension and referral of the superintendent for a student to return to their sending district. Again, GCIT has no place for hate and is not a situation that we will allow students to bully, intimidate, or use any type of slur of any nature to try to talk down to another student. Again, mutual respect is essential. And if a student does not feel after seeing this presentation that they are able to continue in that manner, then we would ask them, again, to make a decision to pick another educational institution. We want GCIT to be a safe environment in which students, again, feel comfortable coming to school and should come to school for an education and not have to deal with other outside variables that could impact their learning. As I indicated earlier, one of our biggest components for the start of this school year is our new scheduling scenario of hybrid learning as well as online learning. As indicated for our online courses, each instructor will send the students an introductory email indicated that their child has been, or that their student has been invited and added to a Teams that's specific to their group or class. Again, all of our assignments will be through the use of Microsoft Teams. The class page will enter their student, will enter their attendance on a daily basis, as well as get their assignments and work from the instructor on using Teams. That's where they will submit all their information. They'll get all their notes. Everything will go through that Microsoft Teams class page for the page and the teacher that they're assigned to. Again, it is essential that students always check their school issued email account for reminders or general announcements that are coming from the staff, as well as the school district. Again, if you're having any type of issues with communication, or you're not getting something, or you're concerned about something, please contact your teacher if you have any questions. If you're not getting a response or need further information, again, contact guidance, contact one of our administrators in the office, and we'll be happy to assist, as well as myself. For this year, as students, in order to promote social distancing, all 9th and 10th grade students that are dropped off by a parent, not by a school bus, but by a parent, will enter into our 600 wing entrance, which is the back end of the building. If you're coming through the main driveway, it's like you're going towards one of the Bankbridge schools. You will be guided on the drop-off point. But again, all freshmen, current freshmen and sophomores that are coming in through a parent or guardian through car drop-off will go into the back of the 600 wing. 11th and 12th grade students, their entrance will be the East Gym, whether they're being dropped off by a parent or driving themselves. For the 10th grade bus, if you're on a bus for transportation, you will be dropped off at the West Gymnasium lobby and enter the school that way. The 9th grade students will be dropped off at 400. We know this is new to 9th grade, so we will be out there helping to guide the students in on the first couple days of school until they get acclimated. We are going to ask every student to complete an online health history each day as a ticket to enter the building. You should have received an email from our nurse's health office in regards to a program called SNAP, in which we'll be asking students to evaluate how they're feeling. Again, that will be their ticket to enter into the facility each day. We're asking that all students, it is mandated that they wear a mask and they wear it properly, covering the mouth and the nose. We will have hand sanitizers throughout the building, stations for cleaning, and we'll have wipes throughout the building as well if students need to utilize them. Once a student enters into the building, they will report to their first period. Again, we are encouraging social distancing, and we'll have individuals and staff members within the hallways, again, promoting social distancing. So you will enter into all the areas that are listed on this slide. Again, we will have people helping to reroute individuals to make sure, again, that we're really trying to promote social distancing and not having excessive people entering into one particular doorway each day. In regards to the hallways, bathrooms are not to be utilized during passing times in between periods. We're asking that bathrooms and bathroom usage be done during class. We will be using, as you can see, a QR code this year, which will allow us to know who is utilizing the bathrooms. And again, from a safety perspective, it will be a way, instead of giving paper passes, in which we are trying to eliminate the use of paper so that we're not passing any type of germs or anything back and forth. So again, students will be utilizing their cell phones. Any student that does not have a cell phone, we will work with them again in using a QR code through their laptop or another device in order to obviously use the facilities. We again are promoting social distancing throughout the school. Again, as I said, not only when you enter the building, we are mandating that masks be put on properly at all times. We have identified and marked various hallways and stairwells, that are up only and down only. We're going to ask students, because of spacing reasons, that utilize obviously all those that indicate 8 up only, that they would only travel up in those stairwells, as well as the ones that are marked as down, they would follow those accordingly as well. We have outfitted our school with new water fountains this year in regards to those that are used as filling for water bottle stations. We are asking that they would only be used to fill up water bottles, not to take drinks. That portion will be turned off, but it'll just be as a filling station for those students that want to bring, and we encourage students to bring their own water in each day. Again, when students are in the hallways, we are having our teachers at their doors to help to promote social distancing, to ensure that students are wearing masks, as well as to answer and direct any students if they have any questions or concerns. Again, for our classrooms, once a student is there, our procedures for having students coming into class 5 minutes before the end of every class, we're going to ask our students to wipe down their desks. We are going to split each class up into 3 groups. We are going to allow those groups 30 seconds apart from each other to try to reduce the amount of individuals that are in the hallway at any given time. As a student does enter into their next class, they are going to grab a disinfectant wipe from the container that's in the classroom, and they will be wiping down the chair and the seat the chair and the desk that they are going to utilize for that upcoming class. And again, that student is also going to be wiping down that area before they leave that class, before they go to their next one. As I indicated, restrooms will only be used during class time. Again, we are going to be using that QR code. That code also has a form that comes up. A student fills out their information, and then that gets tracked into a system that we are utilizing. Because of sanitation, and also because of keeping masks on, we are not allowing food in the classrooms. For those that have accommodations that are built in, we will have those counselors working with those students in regards to what procedures need to take place. But again, no food is encouraged, but we are allowing water in the building. Again, we would ask that students not share any type of container of any sort with any of their classmates. Also, for contact tracing purposes, we will have assigned seating for each class. When students come in, they will utilize that same seat throughout their time that they're entering into a hybrid model. We need to do this in case somebody does test positive. We would need to notify the Gloucester County Health Department in regards to which students were in that seat, as well as which students or staff members were in that surrounding area during that time period. So again, it's not a punitive system to assign seating, but it's more for contact tracing purposes. And again, to not have students going into various desks and seats throughout this beginning couple months of school until we return to a full-time in-person model. Again, as I indicated, these are the stairwells that we have marked. Again, they are marked for the students that, that are returning. They know where these areas are. Again, we'll be encouraging students to use the, up-only stairways to go up to the second floor. And again, those that are located as or indicated as down and labeled as down, they will obviously use those to go downstairs in any manner. Again, this is for social distancing purposes and to reduce the amount of traffic flow on those steps throughout the facility. For senior early dismissal, we are going to ask our students to exit out of 1 of 4 locations. Those wings are located there, the 100 wing, 600 wing, 400 wing, or 1100. There will also be a different QR code for when they sign out. If they're leaving, this is those students that do not have another class for the day, and it's indicated in their schedule and they're aware that they're leaving early. And for those that are approved to go out to school to work, they will use that QR code, complete the form, and then they will be allowed to leave. We encourage students as they're leaving the building not to hold or prop the door for any reason to allow another individual from the outside, adult or student, to enter into that open door. And again, any student that does not complete this process will face disciplinary consequences for leaving school grounds without permission. So again, we do expect some hiccups with some of our systems, obviously, and we're not going to be extremely punitive, especially as we go through some of them. But again, in regards to students and their whereabouts, especially our returning students, they know what it looks like to cut a class or to leave school grounds without permission. So again, they are familiar with those. But again, we do know through all these processes that there are going to be issues that occur, and we need to deal with them on a case-by-case scenario. As we indicated in lunch, I have shared the images in order to be transparent. We are going to have 1 student per table. That will be the only time in the day that the student will be permitted to unmask. All the other times throughout our school day, we're asking students to maintain a mask unless it's otherwise a medical concern. Again, those individual issues are being addressed through our administrative team. Again, students are to remain apart at all times. When students are not eating, we're asking them to put their mask back on, and whatever desk that they will be at, again, because of contact tracing, they will eat at that particular desk throughout this whole process. As indicated earlier, the lunches I specified is that 5th period is for freshmen, 6th period is for our juniors and seniors, and 7th period is for our sophomore students. Again, we all know that this is going to be a work in progress, but our goal is to try to promote as much social distancing and maintaining 6 feet apart the best we can, obviously, for all of our students and the well-being, again, of not only our students, but our faculty and staff. As indicated, I know it's a lot to digest. I will be sharing this PowerPoint with all the families through a messenger blast. Again, we do know that these are new situations that are being presented to us, especially with COVID still being in our society and in our state and country. So again, we do know that there are situations that are going to happen. Again, if a student is having any type of difficulty with communication through their technology, again, please contact the office immediately. If you're having issues with your teaching staff member, please contact them first. If it's a guidance issue, please reach out. Communication is essential throughout this whole process. Again, we know that this is not the norm. This is not what every student or staff member enjoys, having to come back to a school system in this situation. We are also looking at alternative plans and alternate strategies in making sure that our CTE, career technical education students, are hands-on vocational shops. When we do return to a full-time in-person model, we are looking at ideas that are thinking outside the box of after-school activities, evenings, and even possible weekends, in order for students to be able to come into the school and work with their instructor to get caught back up on all the time that they would have missed, especially those that are online. It's important to us. We know that's why they've selected this school, and we are committed to getting these students ready and prepared for their online career educational courses. So again, we are looking at options that will take place, but we will not be able to put those systems in place until we are able to come back in a full-time in-person setting. I do want to thank you for taking a little time with me today to hear some of our guidelines and try to provide you with as much information as possible. We are committed to communicating with our families and our students. We look forward to the students coming back into the facility starting on September 2nd. And we are excited for the start of the school year. Again, we don't know all the variables that will take place. We don't know all the changes that are taking place, but again, we will follow all the guidelines and procedures that are set forth from not only our central administration, our Board of Education, the various departments of health, as well as, again, our governmental agencies that exist at a higher level. So again, I welcome the class of 2024. I look forward to you having a successful four-year career at GCIT. For those families and students that are returning, we welcome you back. Again, we know that this is not the ideal situation that we want for any of our students, staff members, as well as our family, but we are committed in helping and working with the students in any manner possible to get them prepared for the time that they transition on to the next stage of their life once they graduate from GCIT. Again, if there are any questions that you have for any of us, please do not hesitate to reach out, email, phone calls, contact, and again, we will help in any way possible. My best for every student and best wishes for a successful upcoming school year. I hope and wish everybody the best. And again, our goal is to make sure that we're preparing our students for the next step in life. And again, if there's any questions that you have from me, please do not hesitate to contact my office, and we'll be happy to direct you in any manner. Again, have a great day. Best wishes, and we look forward to seeing all of our students in the near future. Take care.